That is the thing with eclipses. When eclipses are happening, it is almost like a magnet. Like the universe is pulling you closer to the path that you're supposed to be on, which is why the changes can feel so abrupt and they can feel so quick, because it's just like the universe's way of like course correcting right quick and being like, okay, yeah. You thought this is what you wanted, and you thought this is who you wanted, and you thought this is what you were meant to do. Let me show you what you're actually supposed to do. And no, I don't have time to explain it to you. So let's just do this real quick. And when the eclipse happens, and when you're in that eclipse portal and it brings you where you need to be, just trust me that this is where you're supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have time to explain it to you. That's the universe, right? Welcome to Yap Therapy, and boy, do we have a good yap session today. But I feel like this therapy session is about to actually start for me. I'm about to release. But you know, yap therapy is all about me and you. You know what I mean? It's not just therapy for you. I feel like it's therapy for me because I get to unwind and yap and let my Gemini moon, take over. But anyway, let's get started. Something really annoying happened to me this morning, and I want to know if anyone else has ever experienced this. So I order my groceries through delivery sometimes, right? Like sometimes you just want to get it delivered. And usually it's amazing. So you know how you get assigned a shopper or whatever. So my shopper gets assigned to me, and he is not doing a very good job of picking out what you want. So if you don't know about grocery delivery, basically you pick what you want, and then you can also pick your replacement. If the thing you want isn't in stock, you have a replacement for it, right? Or they reach out to you and they let you know, hey, this is out of stock. Do you want this? They send you a picture, blah, 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 right? Amazing. And let me tell you, not all grocery delivery shoppers are made the same, okay? There are some amazing ones, and there's some that are just dude, why? You're just not good at this. Or you don't care, which is also bad, you know what I mean? You have to try a little bit, you know what I mean? And usually I'm just whatever. It's not their fault that something's not in stock. But this particular time, let me tell you something. This particular time, I feel like I get to be pissed, right? Because he was just picking random replacements for everything. Somehow, hella of the shit I wanted was not in stock. And he wasn't even checking in or picking the replacements that I picked. He was just going there like it's a candy shop, and he just picks whatever the hell he wants. So I was just okay, this is really weird. Maybe everything's just out of stock. But I'm but why isn't he asking me anything? He's just picking it, and that's it. No approval or anything. So now I'm just okay, this is strange. Tell me why. He finally checks out. And, it goes from shopping in progress to checking out to on your way, right? On their way. Anyway, the checkout is taking forever. I'm talking forever. But you know what? I'm maybe it's just, really busy at 7 a.m. Makes zero sense. Tell me why. I get a notification that said, driver assigned to your order. Huh? What do you mean? I had a driver assigned to my order. He just finished shopping, barely. The fact that there's a new driver, what do you mean? What happened to my order? This dude was just taking his sweet ass time, picking out my shit. Where is my order? What do you mean a new driver is assigned to me? So I'm just you know what? I hop on with support. They let me know that the original driver is not answering and that my order is going to be reassigned to someone else. I'm okay. So I'm you know what? Shit happens. And guess what? It's a eclipse week, right? Nothing really goes your way that often during an eclipse week, right? Because, everyone's energy is a little all over the place. So I was just trying to give the universe some grace after I talked my shit a little bit, right? Because I was what the fuck? And then I was you know what? Shit happens. Whatever. This second person, he was doing an excellent job. And you want to know something funny? Because, when I was going through it the first time and he was picking out all these replacements, I was you know what? Maybe nothing's just in stock. It's weird that a lot of things aren't in stock, but you know what? It happens. This second guy, tell me why he picked out everything that I had on my list. So somehow at the same store, everything that my first driver was saying is not there, and he's just picking out random shit. Everything that I wanted was actually there with my second driver, and he finished it in a third of the time as the first one. I'm you know what? It happens. At least, maybe it was meant to be. Maybe I was just meant to get the second driver who was actually going to, bring me all the stuff that I actually wanted, right? So then he, was checking out, and it's taking forever. I'm what's going on? Why is this taking forever? You guys, It went from checkout in progress to new delivery driver assigned to your order. When I tell you, I just wanted to fucking hit my head against the fucking wall. Like, dead ass. Like, no. And the worst part is, this was like after I meditated in the morning, right? Like, I woke up and I was like, I'm going to meditate today. I mean, try to meditate like every day. But I woke up, I was like, I'm going to meditate. Energy's going to be good. You know, meditation just hits different during like a full moon week, especially an eclipse week when the transits are going crazy. You're just trying to center yourself, right? Everything that I worked for during that morning meditation session was thrown to the trash when I experienced this. The first time was whatever. The second time it happened. So when the third delivery driver was assigned to me, I was like, oh, hell to the no. Like, somebody's fucking with me. So I am just like baffled. I am, you know, chatting with support. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? These support people, sometimes they just have a whole ass script, right? That they're going off of. And it's really hard for them to deviate from that. And it's sometimes hard to just get specific questions answered. Like, what the fuck is happening? And every time I'm explaining to them, hey, like, someone got assigned to me, they checked out, and then all of a sudden my order is not there and someone new is starting. And they're like, all right, we're going to figure it out. You know, the first time they let me know that they couldn't actually get in touch with the driver. That's why a new one, you know, got assigned to me. The second time they're like, let me look into this for you. While they're looking into it, I go online because, you know, we love a good Google search. We love a good Reddit, you know, post. They just be telling you shit that nobody else in real life will tell you. And it's crazy. I think it's actually, that's a whole other conversation. It's crazy how much shit you can learn on Reddit. You know what I mean? Questions that people in real life that are supposed to know the answer don't know. Anyway, whatever, I digress. So it's funny, when I searched this, actually there was a whole thread, multiple threads of people saying, oh, your first driver stole your order. Like, that's what happens. So I guess when the second or third person keeps getting assigned to it, the system doesn't know what to do. That's why a new driver is assigned to your order, blah, 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 blah. Essentially, the first person fucked up your entire day and your entire order because they decided to steal your shit. And I had a feeling, you guys, I don't want to judge because I don't know people. But from the very first energy exchange through my phone of the first person, I was like, does he care? Like, why is he like just picking out random shit and he's not really replying to me? Like, it was just being very sketchy, but I was just like, you know what? Maybe I'm doing the absolute mostest. But no, my gut was right. It was weird and it kept fucking it up. So at that point I was just like, you know what? I got shit to do. So I just let them know, can you just cancel my order? And they canceled it for me. But that was the kind of morning I had, you guys. That's the kind of morning I had. And again, first world problems, right? Kim, there's people out there dying. I totally understand that, but I still want to validate my feelings and my experience because that was so fucking annoying. So if you're ever in a situation where that happens to you, it means the first person stole your order. Like, that's what it means. Let me tell you something. The thread that I found was with drivers and the people that I've used it, but the drivers were confirming that's essentially what that means. And that's just crazy because actually that's happened to me before, but at a restaurant, like when I was ordering like food from a restaurant. This was a grocery store order. So I'm just like, dude, like, what makes you even do that? Like, do you go in there? I'm trying to put myself in this person's shoes or in the mind of a person that does this on the regular, right? Like, first of all, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Because, like, how many times can you do this without getting caught? And, like, it's just crazy to me that, like, this is a thing. And then also my thing is, yeah, do you go into it like, yeah, I'm gonna steal this one today? Or are you just doing deliveries and then when a good order just happens to come your way with all the best foods, you're like, oh, this is the one. This is the one I'm taking home. This is my delivery now. And that's just crazy to me. So it's like, I don't really know. Like, should I be offended or should I feel honored that, like, the groceries that I picked out were just so great that he couldn't help. He couldn't help but think to himself, no, this is coming home with me. Like, you have some good taste. I'm going to make this food tonight, you know? That's what I tell myself to feel better. But honestly, I have such a thirst for vengeance. Like, I'm telling you, it pissed me off. And I for sure sent some karmic energy his way. You know what I mean? I for sure spoke to the universe and made sure some energy was going his way. So he knows that when he has a bad day, when shit happens to him this week, I want him to know it was me. Tell Cersei it was me.
I'd never seen the poison work before. Tell Cersei. I wanted to know it was me.
Because listen, he's going to know when something bad happens to him. He's like, damn it, why did this happen to me? He's going to remember. He's going to remember and be like, damn, I did steal that wonderful, amazing, kind person's grocery delivery. So maybe that's what it is. Nah, who am I kidding? People like that don't give a flying fuck. They don't. But hey, The universe will take care of that problem for me. And I want to let you know from my experience, if that happens, all you can do is cancel your order. Otherwise, it's on a loop. So I just have to cancel it, and you could just like reorder it and start a new order, you know? It's insane, actually. It's pretty crazy. Actually, what was the moon in? Because this is just, it was in Leo, right? Or did it already move into Virgo? Oh, yeah, it was in Virgo. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense also. Because, like, the details, you know what I mean? The obsession. And, like, honestly, again, when there is any sort of eclipse happening, like, this is obviously something very, very small, you guys, you know what I mean? Like, there's bigger problems, again, in the world, but when eclipses are happening, shit like this, something as small as this or big can happen, where it's like, you just have no control, and you're just maybe in a loop, and it's better to just get yourself out of the loop as soon as you can, instead of thinking that you have any sort of control. So, I guess that is, like, also my main takeaway from eclipse energy, is that as much as you think you can control shit, you can't. You definitely can't control shit when there's a full moon, because it's just, you know, shit's just happening. But eclipses are all about, like, that fated energy, right? Like, something that is way bigger than you, right? Like, the universe is working overtime to put us on the right path, or put us on the course that we're meant to be on, right? Because I think, obviously, well, everyone can believe what they want. Personally, for me, I think there is a journey that is set out for all of us when we come on this planet, right? And we all have a purpose, right? And depending on your, I want to say, relationship with spirituality and learning more about yourself and just healing yourself, I think it's easier to course correct and be on that right path that you need to be on to feel the most fulfilled and to reach your purpose in this life, right? I think some people deviate from that path, and it's really hard for them to get, you know, closer to it. It just depends on, like, you know, your situation too, like the circumstances you were raised in and blah, 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 right? And also a lot of decisions, because I think a lot of decisions, whether you say yes or no, it'll either put you closer to your divine path or further away. But that is the thing with eclipses. When eclipses are happening, it is almost like a magnet. Like, the universe is pulling you closer to the path that you're supposed to be on, which is why the changes can feel so abrupt and they can feel so quick, because it's just like the universe's way of, like, course correcting right quick and being like, okay, yeah. You thought this is what you wanted, and you thought this is who you wanted, and you thought this is what you were meant to do. Let me show you what you're actually supposed to do. And no, I don't have time to explain it to you. So let's just do this real quick. And when the eclipse happens, and when you're in that eclipse portal and it brings you where you need to be, just trust me that this is where you're supposed to be. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have time to explain it to you. That's the universe, right? Because let's be so honest, a lot of times as humans, we're control freaks, and we think we know what we want. But there's, I believe, a greater power up there that knows exactly what we want, what our soul actually wants, and what our purpose actually is. So I think a lot of times we just get distracted by earthly desires, or just things that are really not meant for us. We get distracted by them. So eclipses just have a way of really grounding you and pulling you back to where you're supposed to be, the path that you're supposed to be on, to meet the people you're supposed to meet, to be doing what you're meant to do, to be where you need to be. You know what I mean? So just trust that, and also, you know, understand that I always say this: the more flexible you are, the easier it is to move you. Even just thinking about it in, like, a physical sense, right? Again, the more flexible you are, the easier you are to move. Whereas if you're just stagnant and, you know, something is trying to move you, such as eclipse energy, you're going to break. And I don't mean you're actually going to break, but you're going to break. You're going to have a mental breakdown. You're going to feel like it's all too much because you're not flowing with the energy that the universe is trying to give to you, right? The universe is trying to give you this magical rug, right? So you can hop on there and it takes you to where you need to go. But here you are fighting against it, falling off the damn rug, about to break your neck, all because you're so stuck on what you think you should be doing and who you should actually be with. So many things, but just be open to it, you guys. Be open to this eclipse energy. And if you're going crazy, and if you have moments like I had this morning where you just feel like, oh, just know you're not alone, and everyone's probably feeling this energy. So, you know, be nice to yourself. Ultimately, be kind to yourself. Be as nice as you want to other people. I say that because, like, honestly, maybe just stay away from people, because I think it's really annoying. People are like, just be nice to everyone. You don't know what they're going through. But, like, it's really hard to do that when you're feeling really angry. And it's honestly, I think we all want to be at a place where we don't lash out and we don't express our feelings and we don't yell or whatever. But sometimes it's hard. You know what I mean? I want to be honest about, like, this life and how hard it is to manage your emotions when everything is feeling really, really intense, right? So be kind to yourself. And if you feel like you don't have the capacity to be kind to other people, maybe stay away from other people. Do your own thing, right? Okay, so I know you guys have been seeing this Bhad Bhabie and Alabama Barker beef, right? Like, it's been just everywhere. Like, you would have to be, again, living under a rock to not know what's happening there. But if you are living under a rock, I am here to let you know what's happening, and we're gonna giggle about it. Well, not giggle, because some of it's actually fucked up. But, you know, it's a rap battle. There's nothing off limits when it comes to rap beef, right? Like, I personally think that, like, you know what you're getting yourself into if you are actively going against someone, you know, in the rap community and you're a rapper. Or even if you're not a rapper and you're starting shit with a rapper, just know that they can openly talk shit on you and your life. And that is just, you know, what it is with rap culture. Obviously, so Bhad Bhabie, which is the Catch Me Outside girl, if you guys didn't know. But, like, she is so much bigger than that, okay? Danielle's so much bigger than that, and I think her music is actually amazing. Like, Gucci Flip Flops, like, it did not have to go that hard. Like, why is it so good? I still listen to it till this day, right? So she dropped her first diss, I think, against Alabama, and that shit was so good. She damn near... I mean, in the music video, she was actually just playing all the way in her face, which was really, really funny because Bhad Bhabie was not playing, right? Like, she had a whole lookalike for Travis Barker, which is Alabama's dad, right? She had a lookalike of him in her music video. Like, it's just good. It's really good. Go listen to the song. She's good at what she does, right? And I don't think Alabama knew what she was getting herself into. I guess this whole thing actually started because the baby daddy of Bhad Bhabie, Alabama and him, like, slept together. And again, I want to be 100% real. I think a lot of times we give so much grace to the man, to the person that is actually supposed to be loyal to you, and we just don't give them enough heat, in my opinion. And at this point, I just want Danielle to, like, leave that man. Like, I know, like, that's the father of your kid and he's gonna be in your life for a long time, but that doesn't mean that you need to obviously accept that kind of, you know, behavior, because you're better than that. But again, this is her life. You can give people advice as much as you want to. You can want better for them, but they have their own reasons as to why they stay. You know what I mean? So that's whatever. But yeah, so I guess, like, Bhad Bhabie and Alabama were friends, so it's pretty fucked up that she did this to her. So this started the whole thing, right? And it's just been crazy because Alabama actually has turned off all of her comments. I think that is, honestly, I think it's a pussy move. I really do. I really do. If you are actively talking shit on someone and you are very much involved in this feud on your Instagram live and you're making diss tracks, right? Like, your comments better be on. Like, why are your comments off? You know? Because that to me shows that you can't handle the heat, right? But you started it. So why can't you handle it? It's just crazy to me because I don't think, and maybe I'm foolish to think that Alabama didn't know what she was getting herself into, because you know Bhad Bhabie, like, you know Danielle, like, you know her track record. Like, why would you try her like that? Like, did she think that this was going to be an equal battle? Like, this was never gonna be safe for you. You were always, it was literally written in the cards in every single lifetime. You going against Bhad Bhabie, it was not going to work out in your favor. Like, how did she not clock that? How did she not understand that? Anyway, so today I was just sitting here and I was like, damn, like, I actually don't know their signs. I was trying to look it up, and then I was like, you know what? What if I actually look it up in real time, right? On the podcast, so we can just talk about it. I can react to it, because listen, this is wild. This is crazy stuff right here. Okay, Bhad Bhabie. Honestly, and also, if you guys don't know, her second diss track, I think, is dropping today. And it's called OG Crash Out. And I didn't even talk about this. So the first diss track that was dropped by Bhad Bhabie called Mrs. Whitman, I think that was the name of it. Yeah. It had a sample of Kanye's song Carnival. So, you know, the beat is just very, very catchy because, you know, it's from Carnival. So that was crazy too. And then it came out that, like, Kanye was actually supposed to have a verse, and Bhad Bhabie was playing what his verse was supposed to be. Then much later, not much later, but after this was teased, Kanye hops on like live or whatever, and it literally looks like he's held at gunpoint with like paper in front of him that said, actually, I did not do this. I am so sorry. And they made it up, and I love Alabama, and I love Kim, and Kim, please come and take me back. Like, it literally felt like they definitely called him, you know, and by they, I mean Travis Barker. Because if you don't know, there's a connection there, right? Like, Kanye is the father of Kim's kids. Kim is Courtney's sister. Courtney is married to Travis Barker. Travis Barker is the father of Alabama, who is going up against Bhad Bhabie in the diss. Did you follow that? Okay. So a lot of people are also being funny online. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe Kanye gave this sample to Bhad Bhabie when she's going against his niece. In what world is that little girl not little girl. In what world is she his niece? Like, let's be so real. Like, 5 times removed. People are just so funny because let's be honest, also on the internet, people are just waiting to make shit juicier than it needs to be. That girl is not Kanye's niece. Like, what the hell are you talking about? But still, it is messy and it is juicy. So, you know, it's a good story. It's a good story. And it's just so funny because Kanye just like hopped in a video and completely denied it. And it's like, oh my God, it literally feels like when you do something bad and your parents are like, okay, now go say sorry. And you're like, do I have to? And your parents are like, yeah, you have to. And you go and you're like, hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it. Internally, you know what you were doing. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, he knew what he was doing, but he got caught up, so he had to deny it, allegedly. Okay, I digress. We are looking up. We are looking up her birthday. Bhad Bhabie. Bhad Bhabie is... Bhad Bhabie is an Aries. Oh my God. See, you fucked up. You fucked up, Alabama. You fucked up. You fucked all the way up. What are you doing going against an Aries? In a rap battle, like, already you should definitely be sizing up your opponent if you're going into any sort of battle. But a rap battle, you really should be thinking, do I have the lyricism? Do I have the talent? Do I have the ghostwriters to really be able to pull through and actually go against this person? This is a thought that I think you should have in your head before you proceed to go against someone in a rap beef, right? But then another thing you should definitely consider is whether that person is a Martian. Do not go up against an Aries specifically. The rage that Aries has when they feel passionate about something, when they see you as someone that is an enemy, they are bringing the heat. They are going to destroy you. This is a Mars-ruled individual that shows up, and they're going to make you cry, and they're going to make you call your daddy, which she did. She called her daddy and said, Daddy, Kanye got on the fucking track. I am sorry. I'm having way too much fun with this. Let's look up her chart, actually, right? Like, we need the chart. We need to see the story. Okay. Oh my God. Yeah, she fucked up. She really fucked up. You guys, Bhad Bhabie is an Aries with a Capricorn Moon, with the Aries Mercury, with Venus in Aquarius, and Mars in Capricorn. First of all, Moon in Capricorn, this is someone that is cold. They're cold-hearted. And I'm not saying they don't have emotions. Like I say all the time with Capricorn Aquarius, they have emotions, but they can really, really, really pull themselves out of a situation where they don't feel like they need to have empathy towards you anymore. You know what I mean? They really don't. Like, now that she has been fucked with, you know, by Alabama, Bhad Bhabie, Danielle, she feels like there's no reason for me to feel any empathy towards you ever now. Like, my Capricorn Moon has taken over and I feel nothing but coldness towards you. And there is a sense of detachment here now where I am not going to have any empathy towards you for the rest of my life. So now I can really go in on you and I can let my Aries energy take over and annihilate you. Completely annihilate you. You know what I mean? And the fact that she has Mercury in Aries. Mercury is the planet that is associated with communication. So she is putting all her heart out into these lyrics, right? Like, Aries Mercury is one of my favorite Mercury placements because also I am a Libra Mercury. So I love how direct they are. I love that they don't hold back. Obviously, you know, sometimes it can be a negative thing, but I feel like in the career of being a rapper, having an Aries Mercury is a great thing. It's a great, great thing because you're actually meant to be aggressive. You're actually meant to say the shit that everyone else is too scared to say, right? Like, that is when Aries Mercury would probably thrive the most, right? I think Aries Mercury, Gemini Mercury, Virgo Mercury, amazing Mercury placements for rappers, truly, because they're putting it all out on the table. They're being great lyricists, and they're using their words. They're using their words to express their heavy emotions, right? And then also Mars in Capricorn. So Mars actually is exalted in Capricorn, which means Mars loves to be in Capricorn. So the fact that she has such a strong Mars placement too, and with Mars in Capricorn, these people are very persistent. Like in their pursuit of success, in their pursuit of getting what they want, nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, is going to stop them. They see red. They know what they want and they go for it, and they have this laser focus. So the fact that she came through and she brought all this energy, even though she's kind of been, you know, a little bit more low key, the fact that she just popped up out of nowhere with this kind of heat, that also speaks to her Capricorn Mars, because Capricorn Mars stay ready. Let me tell you something. They stay ready. Danielle was always going to win this. And we haven't even looked at Alabama's chart. So let's just get into it. Alabama Barker. She is a Capricorn. Oh, this is fascinating, actually. That's funny. You know, that is actually funny because I always talk about how both Capricorn and Aries have, you know, this need to be in control. And they are both very headstrong people. They're both, you know, cardinal signs. So that's so funny. I need to see the rest of her chart. Another thing with Alabama is that she's in her 12th house perfection year. So if you don't know about the perfection years, I'll post a chart here. It'll essentially tell you, depending on what your age is, what the themes of that year is going to be. So 8th house perfection years are not for the weak. They're not for the weak. When you're 19 is when you're having your 12th house perfection year. And let me tell you, everyone agrees. What kind of year did you have at 19? I guarantee you, most of you will be like, oh my God, that was such a hard year. Like, that was such a hard year. And it probably was. Your 8th house perfection year is a hard year. It's a year where you are going through deep transformation, right? Themes of the 8th house. So a lot of rebirth, hidden truths, just a lot of shit happening where you feel like you are being dragged through the mud in the most Platonian way ever, right? So she is going through that right now. Alabama is, and that is just wild because it makes sense because baby girl is not having an easy year. Like, this is probably the year that's going to impact her 20s for a long time to come, right? It really will, especially her early and mid 20s. She will remember what she went through this year. Okay, birth chart for Alabama. She is, Capricorn Sun, Libra Moon, Sagittarius Mercury, Venus in Aquarius, and Mars in Taurus. Ooh, that is interesting. See, I was getting some soft vibes from her. And not that she's like a sweetie and she needs to be protected because she's a big girl and she know what she got herself into. But her Libra Moon makes sense. Because in my mind, I'm like, what is going on? Like, you're talking a big game, but you are turning off your comments. Like, make it make sense. So when I saw her Capricorn Sun, I was like, that doesn't seem like a Capricorn to be so scared of feedback when you're in some shit that you turn off your comments. Like, that just doesn't make sense. But now seeing her Libra Moon, that makes a lot of sense. When you have a Libra Moon, and I love this moon placement. I love my air moons. But when you have a Libra moon, it's Venus ruled. So you're very sensitive. You are not open to negative feedback at all. Like, it makes you feel physically unsafe when people have anything bad to say about you. And let me say this. No one likes bad feedback. No one likes, people that are mean to them or people that come at them. No one likes that shit. But there are certain placements that make you a little bit more sensitive than others. And I think Libra placements, obviously we know how much Libra values the opinion of others, right? So when you have a Libra moon, it directly affects your emotions. When people are mean to you, when people have bad things to say about you, like, you are definitely a lot more sensitive than the average person, right? So her Libra moon makes sense to me because it's like, why are your comments off? And I'm like, oh yeah, your Libra moon can't handle the heat. It can't handle the heat. It's a little too much for you, right? So that makes a lot of sense. But it's crazy also because you think about it, I always talk about how one of the best synastry aspects is when you have the same sun as someone else's moon, right? Or when your moon is someone else's sun, and they have that. They have sun conjunct moon. And it's crazy because they were friends, you know what I mean? So that's what makes this ultimately the most sad on Alabama's end, because it's like, what are you doing? Like, this girl probably would have had your back. It's just crazy to me that people can do this to their friends, and I know it's just not anything new. We see it in movies all the time. We see it in shows and movies, like, it comes from real life. I mean, you go on social media, every other day I'm seeing a video of someone being like, this is how I found out my best friend was sleeping with my man. This is how I found out my sister wanted my husband. Like it's like so weird because it's happening. But every time I hear about it and there is another case that proves how weird people are, it still baffles me. And I'm just like, ugh, like, keep that shit away. May that kind of friendship never find me. And it won't, because these boundaries are strong. And also, I just have a good circle around me of people that I trust. And it takes a lot for someone to be that close to me. I will be kind to people and, make friends with people, but to be someone that I consider close to me, it takes a lot of time for me to be able to trust people. Because again, people are fucking weird. Case in point, right? Her Mercury in Sagittarius, and this may be why, because her diss track dropped, Alabama's, and it just didn't hit. It didn't. It didn't hit. It just didn't do what it needed to do. And we all know that Mercury in Sagittarius, Mercury's in detriment in Sagittarius, which means Mercury doesn't like to be in Sagittarius. Mercury has a hard time communicating when it's in Sagittarius. It can kind of be all over the place. So that could also affect, her ability to write a good diss track, but also maybe her ghostwriters weren't good. I'm just saying. Like, what are the chances of her actually making her own music? Come on. When you have Daddy Travis, you could pay anyone for anything, right? But what's worse, her getting a shitty ghostwriter and her track being trash, or her actually doing all the work and her track being trash? Like, I actually don't know what's worse. They have the same Venus signs, huh? Yeah, they both have Aquarius Venuses. See, this is the crazy part, is that they actually have some great synastry aspects where this could have been a good friendship, but you fucked up. You done fucked up, and I need a lot of people to know. Partners come and go. Friends can last forever. They really can. So if you just, try to be a good friend, you actually might have these soul-fulfilling relationships in your life that outlast a lot of these relationships with romantic partners. Can I just be honest? It's so, so true. But once again, you can only meet people as deeply as you have met yourself. Like, all the promises that you keep to yourself and the respect that you hold for yourself, that's how much respect you'll have for other people. So don't expect someone that barely has any respect for themselves and has any values, any good values, that they'll all of a sudden show up for you and be a great person to you. Like, now you're just asking for too much. You know what I mean? Like, if people can't show up that way for themselves, like, what makes you think you're special and they're suddenly going to change for you? And I know that's harsh and that may be mean, but it's the truth. Like, stop assuming that you're just so special that people are all of a sudden going to change for you. Right? Like, meet people where they're at, and understand that the way they act is who they are, right? Stop giving people so many chances, and understand that if they barely have any self-respect, or if they barely keep their word to themselves, they're definitely not going to be keeping their word to you. Alima has a Mars in Taurus, which is in detriment. So Mars doesn't like being in Taurus and doesn't like being in Libra because it can't fully express. And it makes sense because those are the Venus ruled signs, right? And again, think about it like this: Aries and Scorpio. Venus, they are in detriment, right? Because Venus doesn't like being in those signs. So it's the opposite, right? So for Libra and Taurus, Mars doesn't like being in Libra and Taurus because it can't fully express as aggressive, right? Like passionate energy, like putting it all out on the table. It can't really be doing all that because Venus is soft and feminine, right? So her Mars in Taurus is also probably not the best placement for someone that should be partaking in any sort of battle, particularly a rap battle alongside that Sagittarius Mercury. And you know what I mean? Like, I don't think there's bad placements. You can always make any placement work for you. You can always overcome a certain energy, right? To be better at it, right? Like my Venus in Scorpio is in detriment, right? I have gone through hell and back, and I still probably will for the rest of my life when it comes to trust and when it comes to giving people the benefit of the doubt. I've gotten so much better at it, but it's still something that I struggle with, right? And that is just what it is. But I've actively worked on that part of myself and tried to heal that wound. And now I know that I can fully express, my heart with people that will value me and that love me, right? I'm not here begging and pouring myself into something, a friendship or somebody that doesn't give me anything back. And then I feel dumb and then I want to, have this vengeance towards them, right? Like that is not productive. That is not good. So we can all work on these issues, right? Like our birth chart, the placements that we have, if you have some rough aspects in your chart, if you have some rough placements in your chart and you're like, how can I ever overcome this? You can overcome it. Just let your birth chart tell you the story and tell you, hey, this is something that you're going to struggle with in this life. If you want, maybe you should focus on changing this because this is the energy that you were given, but that doesn't mean that you can't fine tune that energy to make it work for you. You know what I mean? So, I mean, all in all, what I'm saying is, when the stars were doing their thing, when Bhad Bhabie and Alabama were born, it just was not fair, because Bhad Bhabie has these placements that were going to set her up for success no matter what when it came to rapping and when it comes to lyricism, right? Like her Aries, Sun, and Mercury, and her Mars and Capricorn, like chef's kiss, right? But then you look at Alabama's chart and her Libra Moon and her Mercury in Sagittarius and her Mars in Taurus, not the best placements, I would say, particularly for someone that is, in some sort of heavy altercation, right? Especially on a big scale. Libra Moon, very sensitive. Sagittarius Mercury has a hard time communicating, right? Has a harder time than the average person communicating what they really want to say. It can get very confusing, their message. So it is what it is, you know what I mean? All in all, look at your chart and ask yourself, what can I do with this energy? Because there's sometimes certain things that you might have a harder time pursuing because of your chart. And again, not to say that it's impossible, but definitely the path for you might be more difficult, depending on what your chart looks like, right? But that doesn't mean that it's impossible. Like, there's just certain things that you're going to be good at because you're a water sun, you know what I mean? Or a water moon, or blah, 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 right? There's just going to be certain shit that just feels effortless for you. But there's going to be certain things that aren't effortless for you, and you're going to have to work hard at it. And who knows? Alabama might just wake up one day and be the best rapper alive. Highly unlikely, but never say never, right? Like, never say never. Okay, we're going to actually talk about this zodiac list that I found, and it's mean. No, like, it's actually about mean signs, but it is also mean, okay? Okay, so this is by Shadow Bunny Scorpio on Instagram. I'm going to post it here. And it says, top 4 meanest zodiac signs. I mean, no one's going to be shocked. Number 4, Virgo. Number 3, Aries. Number 2, Capricorn. Number 1, Scorpio. First of all, how dare you? Second of all, no one's shocked, like I said. But it still hurts. It still hurts. I am here to make the case. Can I even make the case? Like, I don't even know if I can make the case. Like, I don't even know if I can do this. No, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it anyway. I just think it's messed up that my sun and rising are in the top 2, and I'm just so tired of ruthlessly and endlessly being the sole advocate for my signs, right? Like, it's just so messed up. I feel like every other week I am making my case for Gemini, for Scorpio, for Capricorn. Like, it's just so rude. I'm not going to stop, but it definitely feels like it's a long battle that is just never going to end. Ugh. All right. Virgo number 4 is good. But should Virgo be 4? I personally think Virgo should be a little higher. I don't know. I actually think maybe Virgo and Capricorn need to swap. I don't know. You guys, as Virgo placements, you guys know. Sometimes I don't even know if you guys know how mean you are. And it's not that I think they wake up. Well, some of you guys do wake up and you know what you're doing with the way you say shit and what you notice and how you choose to say it. And people respect Virgos, right? Like, that is the thing. A lot of people respect Virgo energy. So when Virgo says something, it hits the mark. And it's like, so you've been noticing this thing that I have been trying to hide. You've been noticing my flaws. And Virgo's like, yeah, I've been seeing your flaws, and it's crazy to me that it's been 10 plus years and you haven't worked on them at all. In fact, actually, you've gotten worse, and here's how you've gotten worse. Did you know that I knew? Because I've been seeing it, and it's crazy to me that you don't care. And you're like, holy shit, like, here I thought I was working on this and being a better person or looking better, or, you know what I mean? And Virgo's like, no, like, you still have a lot of issues. And the thing with Virgo is, because of how they say it, I think that is also where it can come off really, really mean, right? Like, it's very factual and there is no emotion behind it. And the reason I'm putting Capricorn maybe at 4 is because, listen, Capricorn, usually they're in their own business, right? Like, usually Saturn is focused on their own thing and is doing, you know, what they need to do to get what they want, right? Like, they're hyper focused on their own shit. But Virgo is ruled by Mercury, even though Virgo is also an earth sign like Capricorn. And we like to say how earth signs are, you know, minding their business. And usually they're like laid back. But usually they have to be provoked to be in something, right? Not Virgo. I'm sorry, not Virgo, right? Like, Virgo is still ruled by Mercury. And Mercury is, the trickster. Mercury is the trickster, the planet of tomfoolery, right? So even though Virgo is an earth sign, that doesn't mean that Mercury's energy doesn't have fun. Virgo can really, really, really get messy because of the information that they know, right? And they can use that information to really say some mean shit. And they'll walk away when you get emotional. And I think that is the thing. They'll walk away when you get emotional and they'll let you know, listen, I was just saying some facts. Like, I didn't realize you were going to get so upset. Like, I thought you wanted me to tell you the truth. And they'll just walk away. Bye. I mean, and same with Capricorn, right? But like I said, with Capricorn, I feel like it takes them a while to feel like they have, a bone in this game, right? It takes them a while to want to feel like they want to involve themselves in this. Whereas I feel like with Virgo, because of Mercury's energy, it's easier for them to get involved and to say what they want to say. Whereas Capricorn, they hold back a little bit more, or at least a little bit longer before the mean shit comes out. Because usually they're like, I don't have time for this. Okay, and Aries being 3, I think, yeah, that tracks. I mean, and I'm just going based off of what this is, even though I really don't want Scorpio to be number 1, but I think, yeah, we do belong there. We do belong there. Anyway, we're back to Aries. Also, why isn't Cancer on this list? Why isn't Cancer on this list? Comment it down below. Why do you think Cancer is not on this list? Honestly, comment down below if you think Cancer should be on this list. Comment with a crab emoji, because I think they should be. Yeah, I do. Listen, Cancer, you guys can be ruthless. Ruthless. If you feel like your feelings have been hurt, or if someone you love's feelings have been hurt, Cancer takes it there. They're going to hit you where you least expect it, and you're going to be bleeding out with like 1,000 paper cuts, right? Like, that is Cancer behavior right there. Anyway, Aries being number 3, it tracks because, Aries, again, as I was talking about, it's funny, like Aries and Capricorn, that is the energy that I was also talking about when I was talking about Bhad Bhabie and Alabama Barker, right? Like, that's so funny. Aries in general has no filter. And when you don't have a filter, when you are the baby of the zodiac, the first sign of the zodiac, you are saying shit with your chest. And again, Mars ruled, right? So of course it makes sense why the Mars ruled signs are here. Because we feel like if it's a fight and if it's a battle or if we're tried, I'm going to show you what I'm made of and I'm not going to hold back, right? Like, Aries doesn't hold back. They don't feel the need to hold back, and they don't feel the need to change how they act to get a different type of reaction. You know what I mean? Like, for some people, let's say they're being mean and someone will tell them, hey, you're being mean. Like, people are going to think, you're fucked up. Like, that's not nice. Like, you don't want people to think that you're mean. Aries is like, why do I give a fuck what people think about me? Like, do you think I'm making decisions based off of what other people will think about me? Like, I am not Libra. Oop. You know what I mean? Like, Aries is doing what they want to do, is saying what they want to say. They don't really care how it comes off or who will have something to say about it. Like, Aries is not gonna feel like Aries will not be guilt tripped into acting a certain type of way or changing their behavior. If they want to say something, they're saying it with their chest, and they're saying it aggressively, and they're saying it passionately, and they rarely will ever take it back. Ever. All right, and yeah, we have Scorpio's number 1. Listen, I could try and sit here and say, no, Scorpio shouldn't be number 1. No, like, we're sweet, we're soft. We don't mean it. It's just because we've been fucked with. I can try and make all the excuses, but we know Scorpio deserves to be number 1. And listen, I could talk about the two sides of this, because some Scorpios are so mean for no reason, right? Well, you have a reason. You have trauma, right? That you have chosen to use as an excuse, to be mean, right? I always like to say, trauma explains your behavior. It doesn't excuse your behavior, right? So Scorpio, say it with me. Trauma explains my behavior. It doesn't excuse my behavior. I mean, every other sign. Say it with me. Trauma explains my behavior. It doesn't excuse my behavior. So you can say, like, because I've gone through this, that is why I'm so mean. That is why I act this way, right? But you need to work on it, because other people that didn't do that shit to you, they don't deserve this wrath, right? So Scorpio can sometimes just be mean because they feel justified to be mean because of what they've gone through, So they're walking through life, with this chip on their shoulder of, well, I have gone through so much and so many bad things have happened to me and so many people have fucked with me that now I can just, take it out on anyone, because that's balance, baby. That's the world we live in, and not everything's fair. So because I have gone through shit, now I can unleash my fury and my wrath onto anyone I see. And that is just life. Because guess what? People weren't nice to me when I was going through shit. So why should I be nice to anyone else? And they walk through life with this negativity and this chip on their shoulder. And that is when the negative, aspects of Pluto take over, and you're just living in the darkness, Scorpio. You're just living in that energy of the world sucks. Everyone is untrustworthy, and I'm going to be an absolute heartless, cold bitch to everybody. An absolute horrible man, horrible fucked up man to everybody, right? So if you are acting that way, Scorpio, you're only hurting yourself at the end. You really are, because you have so much potential, and you have so much passion, and you have so much energy, right? Like this negative energy that you have can be transmuted. That Phoenix energy can take over and use that negative energy to create something beautiful. But if you refuse to, alchemize that energy, and if you refuse to really sit with yourself and ask yourself, what do I want to do with this energy? And you just keep holding on to it, it's going to leave such a big print on your soul. And you're just never going to be happy. You're actively choosing not to be happy because of your trauma, right? And again, not all trauma is made the same. It's not as easy as being like, that's my trauma and I'm letting it go. Like, you have to do a lot of work. But what I'm saying is you can't use it as an excuse to just be mean all the time. But also, on the other side of it, right? I feel like Scorpios can get a rep. We can get a rep for being mean, when in reality, we're just holding the mirror up onto a lot of people's faces. Not everyone likes being told the truth. A lot of people are uncomfortable with it. A lot of people are. And I think that's why a lot of people are very much scared of Scorpio energy, or have these intense experiences. Because I always say, either you love Scorpio energy or you hate it. There is no in between. And if you love it, and if you have been around good Scorpios, right, like high vibrational Scorpios, you know that when they're telling you the truth, it's coming from a place of love. Like the ones that love you and you trust, when they're sharing their truth with you and they're calling you out on your behavior, and they're letting you know, hey, this is why you're feeling like this. Like, what are you going to do about it? If you are willing to want to grow and learn, you are going to look at your Scorpio and be like, yes, like I needed that tough love. But if you are someone that wants to hide away from the truth, if you are someone that is sneaky, Scorpio energy makes you feel so uncomfortable. And you're going to be like, oh my God, you're so mean. And it's like, no, I'm not. I'm calling it as I see it. Like, how do you not understand that you come off like this? Me telling it to you shouldn't be the first time that you've seen yourself. Like, how is it that I'm the first person that has ever told you about you? But you'd be shocked, Scorpio, of how many people are people pleasers. Some people will go through their whole life thinking they're getting away with shit, and then they meet a Scorpio, and Scorpio clocks their shit so quick. A Scorpio see right through it, and people are like, yeah, I see you. Like, I don't know why no one else has seen it, but I see you. And they're like, oh my God, you're so mean. Like, no, I'm just not fooled by your lies. And I'm telling it like it is. And I'm sorry that makes you feel uncomfortable, but I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to look the other way. Like, when the truth is screaming at me, when your negative energy is literally throwing itself at me, of course I'm going to let you know I'm not the one, right? And again, we are Mars ruled, and, Virgo, I was like, Virgo should be number 2 is because of, how accurate they can be with their reads and what they say. Scorpio is very similar. Scorpio sees through, right? Reads in between the lines and sees all the details, but then they can also use their emotions. Scorpio can use their emotions, their intuition to really hit the mark. And that's what will make people think, oh, you're so mean, because Scorpio will not only say the truth, but say it in a way and use their emotions to convey a message that is really, really, really going to hurt your feelings. Like, truly, they know exactly what to say, or we know exactly what to say and how to say it to make the biggest impact. All right, you guys, that is the end of this Yap therapy session. How did you enjoy this episode? Don't forget to comment about any of the topics I touched on, literally any of it. Even if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leave me a review on that app, but then come to YouTube and comment about any of the topics I touched on. I love, 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 love hearing what you guys have to say. It literally makes my day. I hope that you have a relaxing weekend. Don't let this Virgo full moon eclipse hit you too hard. I mean, again, you have no control over it, but just try to take it easy as much as you can. Don't manifest. Don't manifest during any sort of eclipse season. Just take your time to reflect, because we are still in retrograde energy as well. And do your best. You know what I mean? And your best is different every day. Don't forget that, okay? So be easy on yourself. Give yourself grace. I love you so much. And I'll see you next week. Bye, you guys.